Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today, we're going to dive into a marathon by David Hess. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. And yeah, we're going to get into some metal, metal and also some just hard rock, just like some straight up hard rock. And I'm super excited now. We got 5 bands, as you can see in the description. Now, Savatage, I think I've only heard like 1 or 2 songs ever. So I'm super excited to hear them. Helix, I've never heard. So I'm and it's called Heavy Metal Love. So I'm excited. Now I know David's taste. It's more like, mid 80s, before the 90s, I think, just the stuff you comment on and also you request, so definitely a metal guy, but also, it's like this fine line between heavy metal and hard rock, the third one, Dio. I'm a huge fan of Dio. Heard a lot. I've done a lot of marathons, but again, I've kept it, for the channel. I haven't really it's so funny, Holy Diver. I haven't really dived in completely into the world of Dio. I know he was in Black Sabbath. Then he, I think, didn't he do, there's all these projects he's been involved with. Also, one of my favorite Yngwie Malmsteen songs or covers is Aerosmith, and that is Dream On with Ronnie James Dio, and it's just amazing, that version. Then we're gonna do Ratt. Ratt, I think I've only also listened like 1 or 2 or 3 songs in my life. And then we're gonna finish with the amazing Van Halen, which as you can see, we've done a lot of on the channel, but again, also kind of like, not really done like a deep dive personally, because we want to keep it, we want to keep those reactions for the channel. And, now we're actually done with a couple of bands where we have heard everything, thanks to you guys. And just by doing more and more, so there's a couple of bands that maybe there's an album left or 2, but pretty much we've done like the whole thing through, reactions, which is pretty insane. But again, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, David, for sponsoring this marathon. We're going to have a lot of fun analyzing the style, the music. And so we're going to start it off. David didn't give me any sort of instructions. So I'm just going to do this improvise this way. So we're going to start it off with Sabotage, Hail of the Mountain King. This is from, let's check it out, 1987. Okay, very cool cover, very Manowar, like back in the 80s, those really cool covers with. It's so funny because I always thought, oh, if there's something on a cover like that, it's got to be like heavy metal, and that's like bad music when you're a child, it's so funny. So now Heavy Metal Love by Helix, No Rest for the Wicked, 1983. Really cool. With the Devil's Horns, that's what I was saying. Holy Diver, this is a very, very famous cover by Dio, 1983. What a year for heavy metal. Number of the Beast came out. Metallica released their first album, Kill 'Em All. So good. And then we're gonna do Ratt, You're in Love. I know that Ratt is more like they're not really heavy metal. I think they're more power metal, or just like more like, I don't want to use the word hair metal anymore. I don't want to. I think it was a really successful genre, but there were more, the California Sunset Strip, I think, kind of like thing, but I don't know exactly where they're from, but we'll figure it out. Invasion of Your Privacy is called, 1985. Really cool cover as well. And then Van Halen, the only 70s album here, 1978. Van Halen 1, the one and only the shocker, you know, the album that shocked the world. I think when the first time when Eruption came on, people were like, what is this, you know? What's happening? So just very, very epic. So yeah, without further ado, let's get it rolling here, and I'll pull up, you know, while we're listening to the music, I'll, you know, I'm gonna type up the band and get a little bit more, you know, information. But here we go with Savatage, and I hope you enjoy this marathon. Let's go. It took a while. Just really quickly, I love his voice. I love right off the bat, arpeggios are like, you know, blasting through. Beautiful. He reminds me a little bit of the singer of Metal Church. I did own this album called Metal Church back when I was a teenager, and they played Highway Star in that album, and it was just amazing. The singing reminds me of very much of Savatage. Let's check out if it's the same singer. Oh, I think, you know what? I think I pressed pause, but it kind of like stopped for good. We're gonna start over. I didn't know they're from Florida. That's amazing, and they're under progressive metal. I was totally off. Let's just take it from the top. There was, I think, some kind of glitch on the Spotify. Let's do it again. 1, 2, and. Something is off. Let me just, you know, I have to close Spotify. You know, it happens. But yeah, let's just start off. So it says here, Savatage, which is an American heavy metal band founded by brothers John and Chris Olivia in 1979 in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Really, really cool. Okay, we're gonna start over. This is sounding. Today's one of the hottest. It's basically, since the winter is over here in Colorado, it's insane. Maybe the computers are just too hot because it's about 80 degrees in this room. Also, why is it 80 degrees in this room? Because we're trying to save, you know, we're trying to use fans and stuff like that. But hey, let's give it a go again. 1, 2, and.
In a land caught between time and
Very Iron Maiden here. Very good. In the hall of the mountain king! Oh, yeah! In the hall of the mountain king! Oh, Very good, man. That's some nice heavy metal. That's a band I definitely would have listened to back in my, metal days. And I still listen to heavy metal, not every day, but a lot, and this obviously it reminded me of, a couple of other bands, but because that was the style, have a very do the falsetto, great solos, great, little sections. That Iron Maiden section there that reminded me a little bit of Hallowed Be Thy Name. Beautifully played, just like Halford Range, Rob Halford, Judas Priest. A lot older, but this was album number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, the 4th album. So they started in 1983 with Sirens. Very cool. John Oliva. Actually, John Nicholas Oliva. So we have the same name. very, very cool. And it also says here that he's also the singer for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is really cool. I really like them. Symphonic. Yeah, that's more symphonic. This was really, no, I'm sorry. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I think, did I say that? Very, very cool influences here, Deep Purple, ZZ Top, Kiss, Bad Company, Alice Cooper, and they have their own sound. They really sound of the time and very, very good, I'm sure they were super successful and great solos, just great recording. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm sure this is only my second, let me see, Savatage on the channel. Yeah, I did only one reaction in the entire life cycle of the channel. And that was called Gutter Ballet. And what album was this from? I think back in the day we would still put the album. It says from 1990, Gutter Ballet and the song. Beautiful mix of metal styles I put in the... So you can still listen to that. It's still up here, of course. Let's see. Is this... That is so cool. Yeah, check out that reaction as well. David, if you want to check out the reaction, it's up here. And yeah, what a great band. I really, really like their sound, their style, and it is definitely heavy metal. It was not too proggy, you know, maybe like they became more progressive later on, or they were more progressive before, but this was just straight up, you know, heavy metal, 80s heavy metal, which I honestly love a lot, very, very much. Okay, we're gonna check out this other band here. Now, I've never heard of Helix. Heavy Metal Love is the title. Let's check it out, and I'll read a little bit about them while we listen to this. Let's check it out. Okay. Okay. That sounds more like Van Halen, Judas Priest, early. All right. This was very good. This reminded me, you know, of the style of bands like Van Halen, Judas Priest, early Judas Priest, because Judas Priest kind of the evolution of Judas Priest is kind of like a bizarre one, because they started more with like stuff like AC/DC, ZZ Top, this kind of style. It is more like, I call this more like party, you know, metal. It's just like you can sing along, you can almost dance to it. It's not like dun, 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 dun. It's, you know, it has like a rhythm to it. It's do dum bam dum 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 bam bam bam. It's not so like wild, you know. It's more like everybody can enjoy this, even people that don't listen to heavy metal. This is more hard rock. This is something like Van Halen. That's why Van Halen was so successful, because I mean, he had the chops, he had the charisma, he had the singer. The band just had that sound, where everybody kind of could participate and sing along and dance and cheer, And with a lot of metal, it's really, really hard to do that. I mean, if you're a metalhead like me, I can just, like headbang, and just like, I mean, there's no problem. But a lot of people are just like, oh, whoa, it's a little bit too fast, So this is just a more, I think, a more easier way to approach heavy metal. Maybe if you want to get someone into heavy metal, you could play them something like this, because it is more in the vein of hard rock, So very, very cool. They're from Canada. And it's another, there's just so much talent in Canada that pops up that I had no idea of. I mean, obviously there's Rush, which is the progressive element, Triumph and stuff, but this band, I've never heard of them, but it says, yeah, hard rock, heavy metal, I don't know if they ever got, a little bit heavier, but it says, they've toured with the likes of Kiss, Aerosmith, Rush, of course, Motley Crue. I can see, a definitely they're, the same style of music. Alice Cooper, White Snake, Night Ranger, Heart, these are all like these bands. Motorhead is, I think, a little bit heavier, just because, Lenny was just such a powerhouse, he had distortion on his bass. This was really good. Thank you so much for the introduction, David. This was definitely cool. I really love, slower heavy metal as well. I've always been a fan of Judas Priest, and they kind of like got me into that, because when I was listening, to Iron Maiden and Metallica, Megadeth, and then I heard Judas Priest, I was like, I bought like the best of. It was like Metal Works. So it started with Electric Eye, which is screaming for vengeance, a definitely heavier, sorry, a heavier approach than their early stuff. There's like 4 or 5 albums before they really got, they got a little bit more commercial with Breaking the Law, and then they just took a completely different approach with Painkiller, and then they just got heavier and heavier, and now they're like at a moment where they're just like such a good mix of heavy metal, but also approachable. Like, like for example, they released this album called Turbo Lover. And now in their last album, they released a song that was like a mixture of Turbo Lover and Painkiller. And it's just such a good mix. So yeah, it's really cool to analyze these different styles, like if it's thrash, or if it's just hard rock, or if it's heavy metal, or if it's symphonic metal, progressive metal. There's so many different styles. Death metal, doom metal. I mean, there's just like and not everything is like, maybe not, I don't listen to everything just because it has the word metal in the title. There's stuff that is too heavy for me, just like it's too brutal. But this is all very good. Now, I think obviously Van Halen is, top tier, but I think right under there, I think Ronnie James Dio is just a master. I think he is considered by many the greatest heavy metal vocalist of all time. With, I want to mention, of course, Rob Halford. He is just amazing, unique. Bruce Dickinson, we have, but also before, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big Ozzy Osbourne, just the vocals fan. The sound of his voice is not my favorite, but he's very, very good. But also Deep Purple, I think, paved the way to what came later when it comes to really high-pitched voices. Ian, I think, is like was an innovator at the time. So was Robert Plant. Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin don't consider themselves heavy metal. I think I would disagree a little bit with that, but hey, to each their own. Yeah, I think Ronnie James Dio is one of the most just talented guys that, you know, may he rest in peace, of course, but he just had such an amazing voice. So for Rainbow, and then later as a solo artist, and just like everything he did, also Black Sabbath, it was just amazing stuff. So here we go with Rainbow in the Dark from Holy Diver, and I do know Holy Diver. I know that song, which is just incredible. So here we go with him. Let's go. This is from 1983. All right, here we go. Wow. Wow. I was scared for a second. I'll tell you why. What a song. Holy moly. Powerhouse. Powerful. So I didn't know. So this this album, Holy Diver, was their first album, double platinum, Holy Diver. And this, the solo on this, it says here Vivian Campbell was the guy, and he apparently was in Thin Lizzy and White Snake and some other bands. Amazing, from Ireland. Holy moly. But I was like shocked. I was like, oh my God, I think I've heard this before. And then I checked on the channel and we did Catch the Rainbow. Alexia and I was like, oh my God, because it happened before. It has happened many times, honestly, that we do a song and this is like 2-3 years ago, and I just don't remember. Yes, it maybe sounds familiar. But obviously, I want to give you a heads up. If you request a song, I want to let you know. No, change it. I've done this, And I was like, oh my God, I think I've heard this before. I mean, it did sound familiar, but because it's also him singing, So we did actually Rainbow. And I did, and then I saw that I did a Dio marathon and a Rainbow marathon. I'm like, oh Lord. There's some really good stuff here, man. I hope these are all blacklisted or something. And I know why. Alexia just told me that if you don't change the tags in the video, if you reuse your same tags, because every video that you release, you add something to it, like heavy metal, amazing vocalist, great guitar solo. If we start reusing these, then the video just doesn't, it doesn't go on the algorithm. And we have hundreds of videos that have the same tag. So a lot of marathons just get kind of lost, because of that. So Alexia and I were already working on that, kind of like changing that. And looking at each video individually, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's really worth it because these videos are just not being watched because nobody kind of gets them. And there's not a lot of people. I mean, there's like really fans of NicknLex that go through and they look at every video, and that's amazing. And thank you guys for doing that. But sometimes it's just like the algorithm, it just stops recommending marathons, And I think that's just one thing, the tags of the video. So we'll definitely work on that. But yeah, we did a song by Dio with Rainbow in the title, but it was not this one. So this was amazing. I mean, just and I looked up Ronnie James Dio, and I can't believe it's already been 15 years since he passed away. What a legend. There's this video game called what is it called? I don't know right now, but it's like a 8th generation, like PlayStation 3, let's say, if you're into that kind of stuff. And it looks very real, and it looks very cartoony as well. And Jack Black is the main character. And you wield an axe and something, and you're like this guy from the 2000s, and you get sent in the past. And everything is metal. Everything is like metal, into like metal world, So Ronnie James Dio is like one of the big guys, but there's also Dave Mustaine in the game, and I think Rob Halford, and Ozzy is like a king. It's hilarious. I just look up Jack Black video game rock. You can watch a video. It's really funny, and you have your missions, and it's like a semi-open world, and you can drive around in like this metal vehicle, and it's really fun. And Dio is obviously, that was my point, that Dio is in the game. And so I was like, wow, it's like already been so long, because I remember when that game came out, I was like, wow, Ronnie James Dio. And then we got the bad news around 2010. Okay, let's check out the band Ratt. Now, I did do a marathon some time ago, and I think that was for Duncan. Thank you so much, Duncan. And that had Ratt. Let's check out the song. I'm a little bit scared because when it's these bands that I don't really know, then I don't want to repeat the song, just maybe because it's the best. Okay, this marathon. No, it's actually David. And it has Van Halen, Dokken, Ratt. It's your marathon. It's live, alive and kicking. Nice. Let's see. Let's just look at the marathon, how many views it got in the last. Okay, it got at least 1 view in the last 24 hours. You know, it's not a lot, but hey, you know, people are looking. Maybe it was you, David. But hey, you know, it is what it is. You know, they're custom made and they're pretty much, you know, it's just the way it is. You know, people just, you know, I'm guilty. I don't really go on people. I mean, only like 2-3 channels, like maybe Rick Graham, who's an amazing guitar player, or a certain like maybe Brett Garsett, or a certain guitar player that I love so much, and I'll look through his channel. But I'm also guilty. I click on stuff that pops up, you know. I'm also, you know, a slave to the algorithm, you know. I wish I was more particular and go on a channel and look for stuff, you know. But again, when you see a channel with 3,000 videos, you're like, well, I'm just gonna listen to whatever I get recommended, you know. So, but it is what it is, you know. Okay, so this is Ratt, You're in Love from Invasion of Your Privacy. Here we go. Ooh, this also sounds very Van Halen.
You take the midnight subway train, you call another shots, you strip a lightning, you're in love. You take the evening one-on-one, you're only living to have fun. You want to use me, take me home tonight, I'll make you wish that you were mine. You struck by lightning, you're in love. It's not worth fighting, you're in love. Well, turn around, remember me, I'm the one who's out and aims to clean. You're in love, you're making living loving hot. You spin me like a top. You take the evening one-on-one. You're only living to have fun. You struck by lightning. You're in love. It's not worth fighting. You're in love. Well, turn around. Remember me. I'm the one who's out and aims to clean. You're in love.
Wow.
Well, turn around, remember me. Well, turn around, I'm the one who's out and aims to clean. You're in love. You're in love. You're in love. You're in love.
So good. Just like before I forget, the typical the dan, but it's still, you know, you can still, I don't know if you can dance to it, but you can, you know, you can headbang, semi headbang, maybe not too heavy, but this is what they call glam metal. But it is, for me, it's heavy metal. I mean, it's, the solos are there, the voice, but this is more, I mean, it's like that California, LA, you know, movement, you know, and it says here also another platinum album, you know, so very good stuff. This is obviously a lot lighter, but it has that, you know, and it's just like you can sing along. It's a good time, you know. It's a very, very good band.
You're
Very cool. Just catchy. Catchy. Hey, literally, I think my computer's overheating. I think we must be now at maybe 84 degrees or so. Let me check on the, and the computer is really feeling it now. I really saw a slowdown. So I think it's just overheated. But yeah, Hollywood, California. Oh, they put a Playmate of the Month on the cover. This was their second album, I think. Let's see. Second album. And this was a great hit. You're in Love, you know. It says Loudwire ranked the album as 8th best metal album in 1985. 1985 was a good year for heavy metal. We got Power Slave by Iron Maiden. We got, it wasn't quite, Master of Puppets, I think, is 1986. 85, also Megadeth, I think, Rest in Peace. That was 1990. I think 1991 or 1990. But well, just a good year for heavy metal. We got Marching Out by Yngwie Malmsteen. Amazing album. Just such good music. You know what? I'm going to take a little break just so the computer cools down a little bit, because it literally wouldn't even stop. You know, I have them listed. We're going to finish it off with Van Halen, I Am the One. But I think it just needs to cool down a little bit. And I think I'm going to turn on the air. I'm like literally, I'm dying. So we're going to do that. So I'll be right. All right, I'm back. So it's officially 82 degrees. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. It's just like, it's also mainly in this room because there's no fan in this room. We are in Colorado. The thing is this, tomorrow it's going to be extremely cold. So if we turn on the air today and we have to kind of like change up valves and run hot water and or cold water and stuff like this, I don't really know how it works, but people actually told us, hey, don't turn on the air because then it won't come out efficiently tomorrow. The heat won't come out because it's only going to blow out cool air. So that's why I usually don't do this, you know, sit like in this heat. But here we are with Van Halen, 1978. Like I said, this album changed a lot of people, got a lot of people guitar playing as well, you know, freaked a lot of people out. Maybe a lot of people stopped guitar playing, you know. So this is called I Am the One from the Van Halen debut from 1978. Here we go. I mean, what can you say? I mean, that must have been just such a, I mean, in 78, you know. I don't know, there was nothing like it, you know. I mean, there were amazing bands, you know, but this is just a different style, and it was a little bit more commercial, more accessible. His playing was nuts, you know. There were amazing players, you know, in 1978. I mean, there was Steve Vai, you know, learning the ropes, Joe Satriani, there was, you know, Yngwie Malmsteen, but there were just like still in there were still kids, you know, Paul Gilbert, and all these people look up to Van Halen, you know, Eddie Van Halen, because he did do so many things that were new, you know, the tapping, of course. I know that, you know, there's an Italian guitar player who kind of like came up with the idea, but not on the electric guitar. And then we also have Steve Hackett from Genesis doing it, you know, in the earlier 70s, but he just took it to the next level, you know, to be honest. And then the dive bombs with the Floyd Rose, you know, the artificial harmonic, the pinch harmonics, the harmonics with the whammy bar, there was just craziness happening. And it's such a good combo, him, you know, playing these crazy tremolo runs, and we got, you know, it was such a good formation. David Lee Roth was just killing it on the voice. They have a great rhythm section. I'm a little bit sad what happened, you know, to Michael Anthony. I've heard some stories and saw some videos. You know, he kind of like got, unfortunately, like the least of you know, success out of this whole journey. You know, just like decades and decades, and unfortunately, you know, but you know, it is what it is. Rock is a crazy lifestyle, and crazy stuff happens. So Van Halen was only 23 years old when this came out, and what a crazy style, and what a genre of music, you know. So may he rest in peace. He's forever gonna be, you know, worshipped, but generations to come are gonna listen to Van Halen and say, whoa, what the hell. And he inspired so many great guitar players that I love. He was one of the greatest supporters of my favorite guitar players, Alan Holdsworth. He helped him during his life. He was influenced by Holdsworth as well, which is amazing. I mean, what's not to love? Holdsworth was just so complex and so crazy, and so crazy good that Van Halen, he must have said, this is just crazy, the way you play. And he wanted to, you know, really help him. But Holdsworth was just very hard to work with, you know. Unfortunately, he was very shy, and he didn't really want to be successful, as far as I know, you know. And he was just also very specific with his playing, and he didn't want, if people would play any kind of lick that he did, he wouldn't play that lick anymore. That's just, you know, a little bit too extreme. I love the man, but he had some, you know, just some problems. So again, this was amazing. Thank you so much, David, for this amazing, you know, marathon of music. I highly enjoyed, I mean, all of these bands. You know, it was a great discovery. Savatage, Helix from Canada, Dio, I mean, what's not to love? Ratt, very, very good. And Van Halen, I mean, give me a break. This was awesome. Thank you so much. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Comment below, like the video, Subscribe to the channel if you're ready for more. Look up, go on the channel, just type in random bands. Maybe you find a reaction, And if you love reactions more with Alexia, there's so many, and we post one at least every day. So thank you again so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one.